Hey, what's up, guys? This video is about not being able to afford it. I'm on the way to one of my pickups, get to the parking lot. And you know, it's one of them days where you just need to take a little rest, a little nap. So I'm in the parking lot, dozed off for about a good 20, maybe 30 minutes. And I was awakened by a loud noise. So automatically, while I was opening my eyes, I'm like, okay, this is it. The world is coming to an end. There must be a meteorite that's about to hit the planet. I don't know. It was just so disturbing to where I instantly woke up from it. So I opened my eyes. I'm like, okay, I'm looking around, and I'm hearing this loud noise. It's still there. I'm like, okay, what the hell is that? So I'm looking around, see people walking around. I'm like, all right, well, what is it? So I'm looking straight ahead. I look straight ahead, and I'm like, I'm just like, I don't know. It's just, what is that noise, right? So. All right, I'm already up. Let me go ahead and pick up this order. I got out the car, and the noise, it was just like, it was even louder. I'm like, what the hell? So I look straight again. It's a truck in front of me. I'm like, this guy has come from that damn truck. So the truck is a Raptor. I don't know what year, but it's a Ford Raptor, and the guy has it on like half a lift kit. That makes sense. The front was raised, and the back was somewhat lower. It was a little low. It wasn't even. So that's why I said like half a lift kit or something. I don't know. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like really taking it in, like this noise. I'm like, damn, that noise really coming from that truck. And it was just loud, bro. Like you hear the fans. I don't know how many fans that truck has, but you can just hear like fans is like going, like working overtime. I'm like, damn. I said, well, something wrong with that truck. And I'm looking, not to be that guy, but I'm like, hey, it's what it is. I'm looking. I see the guy, he got out the truck, and his wife is in the truck in the front seat, just shaking her head. So she's embarrassed, because obviously this is not a new problem. This been happening. The way she looks, she just looking sad in the truck. It's a shame to be in the truck. So he went inside, he came back out, and I'm like, damn. I said, well, obviously that truck needs to go to the shop. There's something wrong with it, clearly. And he left, like right when I was getting everything together, he was leaving. And all of a sudden, I smelled a certain chemical. I'm thinking it's like something, okay, well, you need to get it fixed. I'm like, so he was leaving, and then, the truck passed me up, and I smelled this chemical. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, is that Freon? Or not Freon, is that antifreeze? I'm like, oh my God, dude got like he got a leaky head or something, you know what I mean? Or whatever, whatever the problem is, obviously the dude can't afford to get it fixed. You know what I mean? So what they do, the people that's irresponsible, they just push it off long as possible. I'm gonna say this, honestly, they never get it fixed. As long as they keep running, they never get it fixed. So what I wanted to say is the guy, the guy middle age, he's in mid to late 40s. And he got a family. Obviously, his whole family was in the truck with him, waiting for him while he went inside. And he got this shoddy lift kit. And I'm like, man, that's common. I see that all the time. I understand people want something, but they're not mature enough to understand it's not the right time for that. So keep in mind, one of the most expensive things you'll ever have is a vehicle, or try to own. People they'll make payment, they end up getting repo. But one of the most expensive things that you'll deal with in your life is a vehicle and a house. I know a lot of guys, especially the ones who already got a family, and then you're married and all this stuff like that. It's a lot of stuff they want, but they can't get because they have a lot of responsibilities. Keep in mind, we don't have any responsibilities. You know how they go. You just, you live your life carefree. But I can tell by that guy's demeanor and how his wife is looking that he wants a lot of things in life, but he wants certain things in life, but he know his family is holding him back. But call it what it is. He has responsibilities. So his family situation won't allow him to have the finer things in life. So back to what I'm saying, he can't afford the truck. Dead giveaway. It's clearly something wrong with the truck. Like I told you before, I smelled Freon as soon as he passed me up. So that problem's been happening for quite a while. I'm not saying it happened for you, but it's been going on too long. Normally, when something like that happens, you want to fix it sooner than later. Anything, if there's something wrong with you, your leg, your knee bothering you or whatever, but if your car making a weird noise, you cannot ignore it, because the only thing that's going to happen is going to cost more. It's going to cost more money to fix it. So it's so important to tackle it head on. And then by the lift kit, granted, It may be a style, you know, maybe it is, maybe it's not. But the truck was just looking, the way he had the truck, it was just like, damn, you know, and I don't know, you know, I'm gonna say this, my take, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't have done that. So maybe, you know, maybe you guys like a half lift kit truck, lifted truck, I don't know, but that's whatever. That's, everybody got their own style, right? You know, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying I wouldn't have done it. But the fact that the truck is spewing out, and it's burning antifreeze, you spell antifreeze, that let me know he doesn't have any money. He's putting it to the side. A lot of people, I'll do it later, No. Whenever you have a mechanical issue, you need to deal with it right away. Now, of course, it'll start off small, but as you ignore it, it grows bigger and bigger. So anyway, guys, if y'all here living your life, stop. I'm not saying you're trying to do it for the impress anybody, but don't put yourself in financial ruins because you want to impress somebody. I'm gonna say this too. You do not have the same threshold as far as someone who doesn't have a responsibility. You have it, which is fine. It's fine, you're married, you got kids, nothing wrong with that. But you don't have the same advantages as a guy with no kids living by himself. You just don't. So I understand that you want this nice truck, because you know, now most guys don't want a lot of stuff, right? I understand you want this nice truck, but in your situation right now, you can't afford it. You just, that's the thing too. They can literally give you a vehicle, no money down. Of course, the notes will be sky high, but that doesn't mean you have enough money to take care of the truck, because you understand the tires, the brakes, the oil change, the fuel, all that stuff, and then of course the insurance. All that stuff comes into play. That's every month, no matter what you do with your life, every month you gotta deal with that. Not the brakes, the tire, you know what I'm saying, but as far as the gas, you know what I mean, your oil change, if something were to happen, you know, because you know stuff's gonna happen with the vehicle at some point, right? You need to have the money to be able to handle that, to take care of that. Now you can't do that because, okay, I can afford the car, the note, that's fine. But what if something happened? Prime example, the dude obviously got a blown head gasket. He's not worried about it. You know what I mean? Maybe it's something not so devastating or whatever, I don't know, but he's not trying to get it fixed. So at some point, it's gonna become a huge problem. So you might be able to afford the car note, that's true. Okay, well, how your insurance doing? Matter of fact, what kind of insurance do you have? What's your coverage looking like? That's the real question to ask. And do you even have insurance? A lot of times, especially the young kids, they'll just get the insurance just to get the car off the lot, and then a month or two go by and they forget that insurance. Even though, you know, you got an insurance company, they'll come pick it up if you don't pay insurance. You know, you pay your car note on time, whatever. If you don't have full coverage insurance, they'll come pick it up. Now, I'm granted, if you got like a 98 Honda Accord, you know how they go. Nobody worry about that. But if you got you a newer vehicle and a very expensive vehicle, you got to have insurance. That's, if not, your contract will be void. They'll come pick it up. You don't get none of your money back. So in his situation, I know that, of course, that we want it. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. But when situations like this happens, now he's in between a rock and a hard place, because guess what? I don't even know the dude, but I know. His wife does not work. His wife is not working. I looked at her, I'm like, yeah, she ain't got no job. She look lazy as fuck. So I know she ain't got no job. This is what it is. You know, certain cultures, it's common for women not to work in certain, I'm not gonna tell, get into too much detail to describe the guy, but y'all can figure it out. But again, now he's in a situation, okay, I gotta pay. First of all, I wouldn't have done it. Even though, I know you want the truck, you want the truck real bad, you had to understand, you had to take care of all the bills, bro. And on top of that, you gotta take care of your wife. You gotta give her money and take a shot. You gotta do all that. So where you messed up at, you added another bill to your expenses, a very expensive bill that's not gonna go away anytime soon. It's not like you added another streaming service. Oh, let me go ahead and get Netflix. And that's different. That's different. So more than likely, that truck is costing him $1,200 a month, especially how it is nowadays. $1,200 a month, automatically $900. And that's depending on how much money you put down. But no matter what you put down, it's gonna be $900. That's the minimum. That's the bare minimum. If you're lucky. Other than that, it's gonna be $1,200. And on top of that, your insurance, you're probably not worried about it, whatever. Hey, that's on you. Now you gotta, you have a maintenance problem. You gotta fix that. So you gotta pay another car note. You gotta pay insurance, and on top of that, you got a mechanical issue you gotta fix. So now you're in a bad situation. So what's gonna give? You gotta pay the light bill. You gotta pay your rent. You gotta, you gotta feed your family. So at the end of the day, the most important things to get taken care of first. So what you gonna do? I'll put it on hold. I'll take care of it later. Now, and then of course, that's his only driver. They say daily, that's your only driver. So that's the only vehicle you guys have at the household. So you are forced to drive it every day, all day. You got to pick the kids up, drop the kids off. You know you're going to work with it. You got, you're leaving work, going back home. You do all your errands in that one vehicle. You probably got another one, but guess what? I guarantee you that one broke down. Busted, y'all. You don't even care no more. So instead of you being mature enough and just owning up to your responsibilities, you over here looking at these guys who won't have any responsibilities. You're getting mad, angry. You're like, oh man, I'm working hard, this and that. Why can't I have that? I deserve that. I should have this. And now you end up putting yourself in a terrible financial situation to where now you're in a bad situation. Now you can turn the truck back in, but you already know your credit and all that other stuff like that. On top of that, all the money you didn't make out on payments all these months is going to waste. It's not going to do anything for you. And then you take a hit on your credit. So now you're in a bad spot. I've been in situations like that, not on that level, but to where I really wanted to get something, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just skip out on these bills or whatever like that. Then I'll just trying every way possible to cut corners for me to go ahead and get that particular item I wanted. But as time went on, I started to really think about it. I'm like, okay, come on, bro. You know that's silly for you to do that. You're gonna put yourself in a bad position. Now, if anything, you can wait later on after take care of everything, all important things, and then you can come back and go ahead and get that item that you want. But as time go on, my conscience is already there, right? The conscience is already there. But as time go on, I start to lean onto my conscience, like, hey, that ain't a good idea. And as time go on, you know what? I know it ain't no good idea, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Ain't gonna be no problem. But as time go on, I sit back and be like, you know what? It ain't that serious. It's never that serious. I'm like, you know what? It ends up becoming me getting it later, but more than likely, depending on what it is, I just don't get it. Because like, man, that's just, an impulse buy or whatever. I really don't need it or whatever. So I just really just weigh the pros and the cons. And at the end of the day, I'll make the best decision. But if it's going to put me in a bad spot financially or whatever, I'll either push it off until I take care of everything first, or I end up not getting it. Because sometimes, people get excited. They just want to get it because like, oh, I just want to get it just because. But when you really plan everything out, it's like, man, I don't know. And then as time go on, you'll make that decision as far as if you really wanted to get it or not. Because it's so easy to get something, especially if you already got the money to get it right then and right there. But it takes a mature person to really sit down and really just think about it. I'm being honest with you guys. If it's something $40, $60, if it's something like this that pretty much ain't gonna do nothing, take a hit on your pockets, that's a no-brainer. But if it's something, that costs a little more, whatever, just really just take your time and think about it. And as time go on, you'll know, if it's really worth you buying it or not. Now, when it comes down to a car or a house, that's a terrible decision if you just go off the back, just do it just because you see your neighbors or your friends or your coworkers doing good and you want a piece of that lifestyle. But in reality, you can't do that because you have a lot of responsibility. So in that guy's situation, it's a dead giveaway. It's like, okay, you can't afford the truck, because if you could afford the truck, you simply would have took it in the shop, got you a rental until they fixed it and got up out of there. That's all I'm telling you guys. So in any situation, whatever it is, make sure you can afford. I know you guys hate hearing that word afford, because you guys want to wake up one day and just act like, pretend that you got $300 million in your bank account and you over here putting yourself in deeper debt. Reality, you guys have to be mature about it. Now, I see a lot of guys in that situation. Prime example, I'm going to cut it up. I got to get this delivery. I got to get to this delivery. But prime example, this is one of many. Whenever I was working at those dumbass jobs, you had a couple of them that was cool, but at the end of the day, the pay was trash. Anytime we would have young guys coming there at these jobs, there's always like a middle-aged guy, normally a black guy, just being honest with you. The society just beat them down. So whenever they had young guys come in there getting these jobs, they would always give us problems because of jealousy. My brother was the first one, because he was the first one that had a official job. We did like cut the grass, we did like little stuff like that when we was kids, but an actual official job. He told me that first. He's like, oh man, God damn, all these managers, assistant managers, and then the other co-workers, the old dudes, they over there hating on me and stuff like that. Yeah, because they see somebody new, full of energy, full of drive, and they don't have that anymore. So if anything, they know we're gonna work more hours. We're not so caught up in, oh, I need this job, because they at the point now to where they stuck in life. But when you get a young guy come in there, it's like, bro, I'm just trying to get my money. If the money's funny, I'm gone. And that's how I always been. My brother told me that at the very beginning when he first started working. Then I seen that for myself when I went in there. It's just a whole bunch of like, this, I don't know what, I don't know about the white guys or the Mexican guys. You know, you gonna have haters, I understand that, but all the jobs I had, I can't remember anybody giving me problems but old black guys. So I dealt with that, and you know, at the end of the day, I'm like, well, it don't matter because I don't need this job because I'm not stuck. I can go find me another job or whatever. But when you get to a situation where somebody's in that position, they just destroyed, and they see somebody come behind them that's just really just killing the game. They doing the job and doing a good at it, and they over here doing overtime stuff they don't want to do. They really shining. You're gonna have somebody gonna hate on you. You're always gonna be the middle-aged guys that's gonna hate on you because they see that you have a lot of opportunities they don't. So when they see you coming to work in this brand new car, you know, you always looking nice, you smelling good, they gonna be jealousy gonna happen because they don't have that drive. So what they gonna do? They gonna try to compete with you, even though you don't give a shit. And they be like, okay, well, he got a brand new car. Shoot, I want a brand new car too. And then they'll try to compete with you, and you like, you're not paying attention. You just working, you know, doing your thing. But that what happened. So in his case, obviously, he got tired of always never being able to buy something for himself, and he seen his peers around him that's actually, you know, living good, doing good or whatever like that. So it got to the point where he couldn't handle it no more and be like, you know what? I really want this, but right now I can't do it. So he let that anger control him. So he's like, nah, man, I want this truck. I'm gonna go ahead and get it. I don't care what happens. And then that what happens. So of course, he may feel good at some point in time, but in reality, it's like, that's not really doing nothing for you. I tell you guys all the time, no matter how you living, at the end of the day, if you don't have any money, none of that matters, bro. None of that matters. There's a lot of people out here trying to look like they got it, but in reality, bro, if you ain't got the money, it don't matter. I know several guys who got these nice cars, they can never keep the gas in the car. And on top of that, they can never take a female out on a date. So they going through it. But somebody like that was us that just had like a regular old car, we over there living it up. You know, taking chicks out to eat. You know, we out here chilling. We come back to my place and all that stuff like that. Dudes, they always staying with their mamas. They ain't had their own place. They never had money in their pocket. They only had enough money to pay their damn car note. They were struggling to pay that, literally. And these guys are in their damn 20s, they mid-20s. Instead of them just getting a cash car or a car they can afford, then you go ahead and you really can go out, you know, and take these girls out to eat, hang out, and, you know, you can do all that. So don't put yourself in a situation like that to where, oh, let me get this brand new car, but you always broke. Never do that, bro. At the end of the day, if the chick really want to mess with you, she gonna mess with you whether you got a car or not. So the worst thing you can do is get to something you cannot afford, and now you put yourself in a terrible position. But guess what? Every time you broke, it's gonna mess up your mental. I promise you. It's gonna mess with you every single day, bro. I ain't got no money. The girls you want to talk to, you can't take them out, so you're gonna be, you know what I mean? They gonna leave, you gonna get mad at that. Don't never do that, bro. Never do that. If you got responsibilities, it is what it is, bro. If anything I can tell you, find you a better paying job or get you a side job or start your little business on the side or something. But just be aware of that, man. Don't put yourself in financial struggles because you're angry because you have responsibilities and the next man don't. That just comes with it. Now, if anything, tell your wife to get a job, that'll help. But I understand that, you know, you're going through life and you really want something, but you can't get it because, you know, your kids or your wife holding you back. This is what it is, man. But I mean, you just got to be mature. You know, all I can tell you is, it's not saying you won't have it, but the time is not now. And it's easy to say that, you know, when you're not in your 40s, you know what I mean? When you're not in your 50s, and you know your time is against you now. When you're young, you know, you don't give a shit. You're like, whatever, you know, I'm fucking 21, I'm 20, I'm 25, whatever, it don't matter. But when you're in your late 40s and up, it's hard to tell somebody that because it's gonna eat them up every single day. I understand that, but hey, man, I'd rather have money in my pocket than look like I got money in my pocket. Like, no, I'm cool with that. So, I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with getting something that you want, but you have to understand you have to be able to afford it. Not the car note. No. I'm talking about everything. Oh, man, what if somebody steal all your tires? Can you replace, like, stuff like that? Stuff be happening, man. So I'm telling you guys this for a reason. I don't want you to do something just because you angry at the world or you mad at your family because most of your money go to them. And of course, since you the main breadwinner, they don't have no money. So all the money literally comes from you gotta pay for everything. I bet a lot of guys like that, they just always stressed out. I ain't doing it. You know what I mean? I'm not doing it. But you know, for the guys who doing that, much respect to you. But I met a lot of guys like that, man, who they just the breadwinner all day, every day they wallet is an ATM, a free ATM. They busting their ass. They want to go get, you know, this brand new pair of boots or whatever. But they can't because every time they get paid, before they get paid, the kids, the wife always hitting them up for money. Oh, baby, we got to do this. So I understand that. You know what I mean? If you don't want that lifestyle, don't have kids, don't get married. That's the easiest way for you not to deal with that. But if you want to have a family, you want to, you know, get your, you know, the whole nine, wife, whatever like that, understand it is not free. And it shows not cheap. Especially if she's a stay-at-home mom. Bro, that's what it is. So a lot of you guys, you do it, but you're not thinking about the after effect. You know, it's always a cause and effect of everything you do. So the downside of you being a single dude is, okay, well, most likely, you're not going to have a chick that's going to be consistent with you. You know what I mean? You're not going to have this. There's always going to be pros and cons or whatever. You're not going to be able to just be, you know, just go home and you got somebody waiting on you. You already chilling and stuff like that. You always got somebody to go out with. Nah, most times you're going to be by yourself. Because that's the thing about it. If you're not going to be committed to it, you're going to have to deal with that as well. There's always going to be pros and cons. The same thing, if you want a family, guess what? You're not going to have a lot of free time. You're going to have to work that overtime. You always got to come out your pocket for something. Because it's not you taking care of. You know you're taking care of 3, 4, 5 other people in your household. So you got to understand that, man. I'm just telling you guys what it is. So I'm telling you this right now. If you're a married man, if you got a family, don't worry about spending time with your single homeboys, because you're going to be upset at some point in time. That's what I'm telling you guys right now, man. So the best thing for you to do is hang around with other guys who have family as well. Because if you out here hanging out with your homeboys that's still single and out here living life, you're going to be upset. I don't care what you say. At some point in time, it's going to get to you. So just be aware of that, man. So, you know, again, to the guy that, you know, that was at the store and his truck smoking and all that stuff, like, you know, with the crooked lift kit, I'm like, hey, bro, you know, it's not meant to be. And of course, whenever you force something, what happens? Something always go wrong. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. So anyway, if you guys got any questions, concerns, any suggestions, leave them down below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. And no matter what else, take your peace, your pockets, and your purpose.